of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze, and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Let's jump in.
All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are in this world. I just wanted to hop on here and do the second part that I started the other night. Yesterday was quite a hectic day for me, and once I finished my day at work, I just didn't have the gumption to get on here and do anything. Plus, as I saw when I got home, there was a lot of people already doing plenty of stuff on new documents and all kinds of stuff. I haven't had a chance to look at those documents. I don't even know if there's really anything insightful in them, but if there is, I will be sure to report on it. By the way, my name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. This is your first time here? Take a look around. There's plenty of Idaho stuff in the lives, there's in the videos, in the library, members only, has a lot of Idaho stuff. So I hope you enjoy the channel. Like and subscribe. And for the individuals in chat right now, thank you for being here with me in this early morning. So, I started the other night. Let me take this banner off because it's not correct. Sorry about that. I started the other night with Nina from Warning Label Nina, and we were going over some stuff, and she sent me some map stuff that I thought was quite interesting, and I wanted to go over that and show you guys exactly some of the stuff that she has on this case and how it's broken down in the map areas. Um, it's good to see you, Sirius. It's good to see you, Dolphin. Thank you for being in here. I'm not a night owl, like I said. Had a long day yesterday. Had a lot of travel, a lot of transporting. So by the time I got home, it was lights out. So let me go ahead and begin with the beginning of this. It said the roommate locations, and obviously this is where the roommates were throughout the time. Let me zoom in on this so that you guys can see. I mean, a lot of us know this case better than why do people talk about it sometimes too. Okay, this one, let's start with this one at the top. It says 2200 to 130 Goncalves and Mogan. We're at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogan's car can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 2200 hours on November 12th and 1:30 on November 13th. PCA page 13. As we all know where the Corner Club is. And then we go down. Obviously, this is the camera. And here is the camera or the video.
9 in 10 seniors agree Medicare Advantage provides better quality care, affordable coverage.
Well, tonight, Fox News Digital has obtained exclusive video that could shed some new light in the brutal stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students last month. Video appears to show 2 of the students walking down the street and talking, how they spent some of their last hours alive. Fox News Digital believes it was recorded on November 13th, just a couple of hours before the 4 were stabbed to death in their off-campus home. The footage shows Kaylee Goncalves and Banny Mojan walking with a man on Main Street in downtown Moscow. 2 women appear to be wearing the same clothes that Goncalves and Mojan were seen wearing earlier that evening near a food truck. The man walking with them is also wearing clothes that look like those worn by a man who was also seen at the food truck. Police have said that they have cleared that man for being a suspect in the case. The father of one of the victims says this new video is a comfort to him and his family.
It's just 2 girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Well, police continue to ask the public to be on the lookout for a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. They're still trying to figure out who was driving it. They say it was in the area the night of the murders.
I don't know why that had that skipping or whatever, because I have premium, so I guess whoever uploaded this didn't have the premium. So it says, not mentioned in the PCA, Gonsalves, Mogan, and a male friend are seen on surveillance walking south of Main Street. Gonsalves says to Mogan, "Maddie, what did you say to Adam?" The footage contains no timestamp, but it was likely recorded around 1:35 on their way from the corner club to the grub truck. So as we've seen here at the corner club, walking to caught on this video. And the next sighting is the grub truck. And I'm just going over this because this is how it is in sequence. Not necessarily trying to say that people don't know the case or whatever. So this says 140 to 156 in Goncalves and Mogan. At approximately 1:30, Goncalves and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. A private party reported that he provided ride to Goncalves and Mogan at approximately 1:56 from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. So we all know that the Grub Truck was probably about 5 minutes to where their home was, and it wasn't far. It took about 5 to 7 minutes, if that. So I think this is pretty interesting. Hey Nina, how are you doing? If you want to come up here, let me know, because this is your map. I don't want to act like I created this. Chapin and Kernodle. Obviously, we know that they were at the Sigma Chi for some of the night, which is right here. It's at 2100 to 145. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Ethan Chapin and Dana Kernodle were seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 2100 on November 12th to 1:45 on November 13th. Brittany Funk also estimated that approximately 1:45 Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. PCA, page 3. So like I said, all this is not very far. Here's the Sigma Chi, and here was the house. Right here. And it kind of gives you a breakdown. What is this? Okay. That's interesting because that's what Jeff and I had kind of assumed, that this is where this picture was taken. And this video him and I did a lot of talking on this one. This is where this photo where Kaylee had posted the night or the morning, not the morning, like the afternoon after the football game, either after the football game or before the football game. It says pictured left, surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen, Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, Dana Cronoto, and surviving roommate Bethany Funk. The photo posted to Instagram by Kaylee Gonsalves on Sunday, November 12th, 2022, or Saturday, November 12th. The caption reads, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day" on Instagram. So this photo was taken right here at the apartments off Taylor Avenue. That's interesting to know. Like I said, Jeff and I were trying to find out exactly where that picture was taken one night because we thought that it was quite interesting. And then it goes down to 135. Okay, already showed you that one. And this one says they're home right here. 156, a private party reported that he provided a ride to Gonsalves and Mogan at approximately 156 from downtown Moscow in front of the grub truck to the King Road residence. 2 to 4, DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 o'clock and asleep or at least in their room by approximately 4 o'clock. PCA page 3, 244 to 326, and Salvez made 7 calls to her boyfriend, not mentioned in the PCA. 4 o'clock, Kernodle received a DoorDash order. We have since found out that 3:59 was the appropriate time that this was done. Law enforcement identified a DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. PCA page 3. 4 o'clock, DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which was located on the third floor. PCA page 4. 4:12, a short time later, DM said she heard who is thought to be Gonsalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." This could also have been Kernodle, as she was likely awake and using the TikTok app. PCA page 4. 417, a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 417. The security camera in less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. 11:58 on November 13th. At 11:58, officers responded to the residence after a 911 call reported an unconscious individual. 11:22, 2022. Moscow Police Department press release. The 911 call is not mentioned in the PCA. And like I said, this is some stuff that we have known for a while, but it's interesting that this kind of gives a little more description. And this is kind of, I guess, where these residents are. This is 326 Indian Hill Drive. I guess this is where the first sighting of the vehicle was seen. And as you know, anything about the map, um, I'm looking for Steiner Avenue. Okay, there it is. So this is, if I remember correctly, and this could be, y'all help me out in the chat, okay? Um, the first view of the car was over here by the police station, correct? And then the car went up and made a left on Steiner. And this is, trying to think. I'm getting this confused because this is the way the car left on one of the documents. So I'm not well versed on the coming into the area. So I guess made a left on Steiner, a right on 95 and past the A&W, right? Trying to think. I'm trying to get my bearings here. Yeah, there's the A&W right there. So right here, this camera caught him making a right. So the B is Brian, right? I'm sorry, I didn't make this map, so I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, B, A&W makes a right and then heads on Taylor Avenue. Around to the King Road house. So that would have been probably the first pass. Okay. I'm trying to figure it all out. Like I said, I didn't make this map, so it's kind of like um I recognize the times, but I'm like, okay, I'm not well versed on the roads of the initial passes because I usually don't pick it up till 407. So 328 Steiner Avenue right here and Highway 95. And then 329 to 404, the King Road residence. So that's what those are. And this says camera and ping. So 242 would be the cellular ping. So this would have been one of the cellular pings. So this would have, it says on November 13, 2022, at approximately 2:42, the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources to provide a coverage to 1630 North East Valley Road, apartment G 201, Pullman, Washington. Hereafter, the Koberger residence, PCA, page 13. So this tower right here would have been the tower that he was pinging off of at 2:42. Nina sent it to me, so I don't know who she got it from. So I'm crediting Nina. 244 Southeast Nevada Street in Stadium Way. It says a review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 on November 13, 2022, suspect vehicle number 1 was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way, PCA 7. So this is this one right here. It's quite interesting. And this says 253 Northeast Stadium Way, XSR 270. At approximately 2:53, suspect vehicle 1 was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270 PCA page 7. So as you can see, these pinged within within minutes of each other. Excuse me. I'm having a hell of a time with freaking allergies and everything else. And then there's the one on Indian Hills Drive. It says a review of camera footage indicated that suspect vehicle number 1 was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive, PCA 5 to 6. 328 Steiner Avenue, X Highway 95. Suspect vehicle 1 was observed traveling westbound on Steiner Avenue, right here. Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appears suspect vehicle number 1 was not displaying front license plate PCA 6. So this is where they caught, supposedly, the vehicle not having a front license plate. Many people that I've heard talking about this case make it sound like they caught that over here on this camera right here at 11:12. I did not know that. Um, you know, so that's interesting information to me, you know. Okay, thank you, Dolphin. I mean, like I said, I have not read every document or anything like that. I'm only versed up to until probably the PCA and then some of the IGG documents and stuff like that. But I don't have a lot of time to spend on the documents and reading them. But I appreciate you guys putting all this stuff in the chat. It helps out a lot. So right here is obviously where they first observed that the car, the vehicle, suspect vehicle number 1 did not have a front license plate. And then we go to 417, 1112 King Road, dog barking. That's way before, after. 406, 1112 King Road. It says when suspect vehicle number 1 is in front of King Road, residents appeared to be unnecessarily attempted to park or turn around in the road. PCA 6. The PCA did not indicate exactly where this camera was located. However, there's unlikely to be a camera across the street pointing at the There is unlikely to be a camera across the street pointing at the 1122 King Road house. The headlights of suspect vehicle 1 could likely be seen from the 1112 road camera, and the investigators were likely able to deduce that the car was moving in the area of the street. 406 is an approximation based on the Linda Lane footage. I don't know what this is. It says 417, 1330 Linda Lane dog barking. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 417 PCA 4, which we now know that it came from the 1112, but I don't know why they would put that in there. It says a dog can be heard barking in the 1330 Linda Lane footage at 417:43. This camera is approximately 300 feet from Gonsalves' bedroom where the dog was found. That's interesting. At 417 1112 King Road, dog barking. It says a security camera located at 1112 King Road. A residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 417. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Colonel's bedroom. Okay, if this is less than 50 feet and this is what did they say? Like 100 and something yards? I cannot be looking at email and doing this at the same time. Come on now. Come on, Nina. Okay, I can't be doing all that and doing this map at the same time. So, it's interesting to me that if indeed that camera caught a dog barking, I had to go back and look at that camera. I think Jeff has some cameras on his page. Jeff 8, the guitarist, has the Linda Lang camera. This would be the 1330 that has like all the has some great sound. So if you could go and look at that, maybe you can hear what they're talking about in this one, where it says 41743, and you can see if you can hear that. So, dog barking, Linda Lane, and this says White Avenue. This is 345. Not mentioned in the PCA. This footage seemed to be capturing a white sedan traveling westward on White Avenue toward Highway 8 or Steiner Avenue at 345. The tail lights and curvature of the back window are inconsistent with those on 2011-2015 Hyundai Elantra. See photo 3 or 4 above. While the Fox News article says that the footage was captured on Highway 8, the two-lane street seen in the photo is inconsistent with the appearance of the Highway 8, given that the highway has 4 lanes. Instead, it's likely the footage was captured on the side of the building facing north on White Avenue. And we've seen this as well. As you know, we already know that this image was probably captured right here by this car wash because there is a camera on either on this side or on this side that would have captured more likely the vehicle traveling by, whatever kind of vehicle that was. So that goes with those. And this says 11/13/2022, 420 to 527, 1122 King Road. We know where that is. Walenta Drive. I guess this was where the cameras would have captured it. So here's 1122. Here's Walenta Drive. Palouse River Drive. 2004 Palouse Winter River Drive. Highway 95. Moscow. So that's heading south. So to me, if they have these, and right here is where the phone ultimately started reporting to the network around this area. Highway 95, Genesee, Idaho, 2681. It's interesting to the point that they have down to exactly where it's at. I mean, where the phone 202 North Montgomery Street, Uniontown, Washington. So I don't know why they chose this road right here. I don't know if it's in any of the documents, but if it is, y'all just let me know in the chat. Um, So, and then in Uniontown, somebody was saying that there's no way that his um his phone pinged over here, that it pinged somewhere over here, which would make it that, he was heading toward Wawa Park, which I don't know if I follow that, but anything is possible. And then the next one is right coming into Pullman on 1300 Johnson Avenue in Pullman, Washington. And then 1630 Valley Road, Pullman, Washington, which would have been by his residence, because there are the Steptoe Village apartments, as you can see. I mean, I don't see how people can still believe that you have all of this stuff and people don't want to even give it any credence. And here are the 10 cameras. This one obviously is at 1112 King Road. Suspect vehicle number 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 420 at a high rate of speed. PCA 6. So 4:20 a.m. this camera caught him at a high rate of speed. Did he run the stop sign? Did he stop at the stop sign? I mean, little things like that I think about, because that's how my brain works. If he ran the stop sign, wouldn't that look a little more suspicious? Even if he stopped, if he's going at a high rate of speed, why is he speeding down this road, this little bitty road? There's cars on this side, there's cars on this side. Why would you be speeding down this road? It just don't make sense to me that way. I mean, because I've always said there's cars all around there. You would have had the capability of possibly sideswiping one. And then at 421, 1330 Linda Lane, a vehicle in motion can be heard in the 1330 Linda Lane footage at 421:22. If this is suspect vehicle number 1, then the car is likely traveling along Queen Road and is not within the camera frame. Affidavit, suspect vehicle number 1 is next seen on the 1112 King Road camera, departing the area of King Road residence at approximately 420 at a high rate of speed. (421) 1122 King Road, Walento Drive. So this is the individual leaving the area. Suspect vehicle number 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road residence, 420 at high rate of speed. The southbound section of Walenta Drive can be likely seen from the 1112 King Road camera. So this camera right here, they're saying, can more than likely have captured this image. Which, if it did, that's a hell of a camera. Because, I mean, maybe they saw lights. I don't know how would have captured that, but that's an interesting statement. Tell me what y'all think so far. What do y'all think about these camera views and all the stuff that I've been reading along the way? I know that it's nothing earth shattering or stuff that we don't know about, but it's interesting to see it in a map form. Any thoughts? And then we go to the cellular ping in Blaine. Idaho, it says the 8458 phone did not report to the network again until approximately 4:48, at which time it utilized cellular resources to provide coverage of Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow near Blaine, Idaho. See, I mean, I'm not a betting man, but this is how my brain works, okay? And when I hear people talking in these chats or these creators that are talking, they seem to make excuses for numerous reasons. Um, but they fail to ever mention this um this ping right here. Other than it shows he wasn't near the residence. Okay, 448, and he's heading south. This is where phone picks up to the network. They're trying to say that his phone could have been way over here, or hell, even way over here. But if you have the capability of knowing that his phone started reporting to the network right here in this area, this vicinity, and this is the only road, and the trajectory of him being over here on this road is very far in between because the next town was in Uniontown where he was reporting and seen on camera. So if he was seen on camera in Uniontown and supposedly was seen on a camera over here, then how does this add up to you in your mind? I'm sure you can make it make sense for you, but um, it can make sense to anybody who however they want to see it. You know what I mean? And then we get to 525. Or wait, we're at Genesee right now, or Blaine. Then it go to Genesee between 450 and 526. The phone utilizes cellular service that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west toward 13 Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman. So you tell me, the phone starts reporting to the network. The next time it's reporting or seen, it's down here by Genesee. So it's already, it's traveling in a consistent manner. So I sped ahead. So at 525 Johnson Avenue, at approximately 525, suspect vehicle number one was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. So, if I was going to be questioning him, I would say, okay, if you're saying that you weren't on Highway 95, what were you doing at 525 in the Johnson Avenue area? What were you doing? 5 cameras caught you there. What were you doing? Because his alibi, he was out driving around, stargazing, and I bet he's hoping that these camera sightings right here will be consistent enough for his alibi. Because and captures his car on 5 cameras. So he's hoping that, okay, it showed me coming from the south to the north, and these cameras caught me 5 times. So this would be consistent with my alibi that I was out driving around. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? So I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that this is probably going to be part of his alibi defense. If they do not let Cy Ray testify on his behalf, this will be part of his defense. See, this camera's caught me 5 times in the Pullman area coming from the south, but he probably didn't plan on these being captured. Now, if he wouldn't have had these, then that would have. I could see the reasonable doubt. Hell, even Uniontown, I could see it. You know, that's far away enough from the murder site. But the fact that you supposedly were captured in these 2 areas, that kind of takes that out of the water. Y'all get what I'm saying? So these times right here, it's captured on Northeast Stadium Way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then at 5:30, at approximately 5:30, the 8458 phone is utilizing resources to provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with phone traveling back to the Koberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the White Elantra. Is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive approximately 5:27. I mean, reading this, I'm thinking that to myself. I'm thinking, you know what? This is gonna be what I'm just guessing here, but I bet you this is gonna be part of his alibi. Well, these cameras caught me 5 times coming from the south. That's where I was. I was driving around. But nothing over here caught you by the park. You would think that if he was obviously over here at YYY Park, this road right here, something would have caught him in this area before he reached Pullman. Some camera, his phone would have been pinging somewhere. But we haven't heard of any of that. And people say, well, it's dense out there, you lose coverage, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Once again, I can understand that. I can understand that wholeheartedly. No, I'm just saying that as he was coming back into Pullman, there was 5 pings heading towards his house. So he would be saying, see, I was coming back in from the park, and here are the 5 areas that are consistent with that route. I'm not saying for certain he's going to use that. But, if it was myself and I was desperate, you know, that would be the only thing to validate the alibi, because there is no physical sighting other than those cameras and the pings. 9 to 9:32, it says further indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area Koberger residence at approximately 9 and traveling to Moscow, Idaho, PCA 14. So if he left at 9 o'clock and he traveled back to Moscow, going south in the long way. Why wouldn't he have gone the shorter route? I mean, that. I'm just asking questions. Y'all might have answers already, but I'm just asking questions. You know, why would he have? In the PCA, it talks about this, but to me, I've never seen it. I mean, I thought that he would have went the short route back to Moscow and then back, but obviously, if he went the long way, why was he going the long way? I mean, I would ask him that. Why did you go the long way? And a 912, it says specifically the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources to provide a coverage to the King Road resident between 912 and 921, PCA 14. So from 912 to 921, to around the residence. I mean, it just looking at this on the map, it just makes a lot clearer in your mind. The 8458 phone next utilize cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Koberger residence and arriving at the area at approximately 9:32 PCA 14. So what's going to be interesting is if he had his phone on, obviously he did because it pinged over here at 9:21 or whatever. Then if he left it on and he went back the route that he came, he's cooked, bro. He's cooked because how can you explain that you're there again between 9:12 and 9:21, and then they're able to see your phone coverage all the way back to your apartment? You get what I'm saying? I wouldn't think so either, Dolphin. I wouldn't either. I didn't think that the individual would have taken some route like that. I mean, it's only 10 minutes from Pullman to Washington. So it would have been, I mean, that makes sense. If he left at 9, he arrived at 9:12. From 9:12 to 9:21, his phone was in the area of the 1122 King Road house, and he arrived back at 9:30. I mean, that does cover the 10-minute road, not the long route. But still, I mean, did he have his phone on at that time? Obviously he did, right? And then from 12:36 to 17:36, his phone is seen in Clarkston, 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. The adjacent Katie's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle number 1 drive past Katie's Cup of Joe at the time, consistent with the cellular data, page 16, which is right here. I mean, I believe all this stuff was trying to set up an alibi. 12:36. See, I wasn't even home in the morning. I was out driving around. So if you're over here this deep, you could have said I was at the park until probably about, you know, 11, and then I went to Clarkston and was doing some shopping, and then I left and went home. Or I went home and then went to do some shopping. I mean, that's what it looks like. Because why would you go this far south? to shop. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 7:32 and 17:36, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The 8458 phone then stopped reporting to the network from approximately 17:36 to 20:30. So once again, it stops reporting to the network. PCA 18, the PCA did not state the path of travel the 8458 phone was on route to Johnson, Washington, or where the phone utilized cellular resources at 20:30. So wouldn't it have been something if at that Albertsons he was captured in that same white shirt that he took that photo in? Because if they got him on camera at Albertsons, so if he's wearing that same white shirt, or they capture him outside walking to his car with that same white shirt, you can't. I mean, what are the odds? You cannot. I mean, you can say, well, that's not the same shirt, but I mean, it's not a very distinctive shirt. Not like, you could say, well, it had this on it or that on it. No, that was a plain white shirt. So it says Koberger locations of interest, obviously, are his apartment. On November 13th at 2:42, the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources to provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201. Hereafter, the Koberger resident. So he was at home at this time. At approximately 5:30, the 8458 phone is utilizing resources to provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Koberger residence, PCA 14. What's interesting that I don't know if this is going to talk about it, but um, after the 9:30 visit, that phone never pinged in Moscow again. 7922 1400. This one. It says the records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular resources to provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th. All these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of respective days. According to Koberger's neighbor, who spoke with Law and Crime, the neighbor invited Koberger to a pool party on July 9th at 1400. And I have those screenshots as well. Koberger's attendance at the party may explain the one occasion that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources in Moscow outside of the late evening and early morning hours. That's what I was going to say. And how about those times when he supposedly had people talking about him visiting the Union Center at U of I? His phone would have definitely been pinging at the U of I, right? So, you're welcome. And then it goes on to all the way to the Pennsylvania home. It tells you about that traffic stop. And then Loma, Oklahoma, where the license plate reader was. The first traffic stop in Indiana. The second traffic stop in Indiana. The Pennsylvania home. See, I think it's going to be interesting too to see how many pings were around this area. Where did he go while he was in Pennsylvania for those days? Here's unknown cameras of Floyd's cannabis shop. It says, according to the defense's language, the camera is not likely affixed to the building itself, but rather somewhere nearby. And then the Red Star Cafe. The defense requested this footage in a court hearing. A camera is affixed to the north side of the building. So there's all I have on that. What do y'all think about that map? I think it was pretty awesome. Think it was pretty awesome. And thank you, Nina, for supplying that the other night. Like I said, I wanted to finish up that because I stated the other night that I would. I believe that the one thing that really got me to thinking was where in the PCA it does talk about his phone no longer pinging in Moscow area after the murders ever again. So, can somebody explain that to me? Can somebody give me a hypothesis on that? You know, if we have this camera pinging all over the place, we have this phone pinging all over the place. And then after the murders, it doesn't ping one time in that month before he left to go home. This is a good thought. That's a good thought. But he wasn't a suspect. They didn't have his name until the 19th, right? So if I was innocent, I would have kept going. I would have kept going back to Moscow. If I was innocent, I wouldn't have stopped. I would have kept driving around Moscow. I would have, yeah, it doesn't matter that, there was a bolo, but if I was innocent, I would have kept driving around. Obviously, he did in Moscow. He didn't care, you know. Well, you know how I feel about it. You know how I feel about it. No, I'm saying that he said the shopping was better in Moscow. I don't know if that's been proven, whether he really said that or not. But if he did say that and his phone no longer pinged after the murder, then it was shown at least 23 times. Why quit? Why quit going if you're innocent? Like, that would show pattern, like, see, after the murders, I was still around there. I don't know. Hey, Thanos, see what you got to say. If they use the excuse of he only went there after payday to go grocery shopping, then with Thanksgiving and Christmas break, would there be another payday that he would have went? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. He did break his pattern after the murder. That's what I'm trying to show, is that he broke the pattern of supposedly going to Moscow and going to the U of I Union Center and all that stuff. I mean, why would you stop if you were innocent? I can't imagine going 6 weeks without going to your usual shopping spots. I mean, it's just a thought. I mean, that's how my mind works. It's like, if you were going to this location 10 miles away, like, there's a small town 10 miles away where I grew up, and if I came here to eat, to shop because there's bigger stores or whatever, and then let's say there was a murder, and then all of a sudden I stopped coming, wouldn't that look suspicious? That would look very suspicious in my mind, I think. Unless, like y'all say, he wasn't using his phone, he was using a VPN and he was not being, he turned his phone off each time he went to Moscow. Because if he was the killer, don't you think he would have been curious enough? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. But, people have done dumber shit, like Stephen McDaniel always comes to mind when I think of the dumb criminals. The dude did an interview the day after he murdered this college law student. So, to say that, they would do the right thing. I mean, he was a law student himself, and he still gave an interview and got caught on camera reacting to the death of his friend, supposedly his neighbor, whom he killed because he thought he did the perfect murder as well. And when the reporter asked him, "So, how do you feel about her torso being found in the trash can?" You know, that would have like tripped me out. Hey, Dreamcatcher, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Wouldn't that have been a trip? Yeah, that McDaniel guy. I mean, he was all concerned and everything, and we saw her. We went looking. We looked in her apartment, and and then he gets on the with the reporter, and he's like being the concerned neighbor, the concerned friend, and then she asked that question, and he's like, "Oh," kind of like he's visibly shaken, and he's like, "I got to go sit down." I mean, at that moment, he was cooked. He knew it. He knew it. And yeah, he had to sit on the curb. He knew it. His face went gray. So, I mean, to say that these individuals, just because they're criminal justice majors or law students or whatever, that they're going to be so much smarter than the average Joe is not always the case. I mean, that interview is classic, and I have that case in my library. I gotta unprivate it though, but the first time I saw that case, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Did you really just do an interview?" And then when she got to that point, you just kind of, I gotta go sit down. I gotta go sit down. This is too much for me. I can't handle it. And then when he went in to be interviewed with the police, I mean, he was just like, you could tell he was guilty. You could just tell. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And to my new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Seems like the word's getting out about my channel, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, I mean, it is horrendous, but sometimes you do have to laugh at some of the dumb stuff that people do. I mean, that interview's classic. If you haven't seen it, go look up Stephen McDaniel and listen to that interview. He kills his next door neighbor, which was also a law student, because he was infatuated with her. He went to the extreme of getting a broomstick and tying his cell phone so he could spy on her from the window. He had the key to every residence in that apartment complex, so he was able to go into her apartment and rearrange stuff and just lay on her bed or whatever the heck he wanted to do when she wasn't home. And he even he developed a crush on her, and he was stalking her. And then when his advances went unwarranted, he strangled her and killed her, and then dismembered her. That sounds awesome, Dreamcatcher. I hope to see you. They're usually later in the evening, probably about 9 Central time. Yeah, the thirst to do it again, hence the second K bar. The color drained from his body as soon as the interviewer said about them finding her body. You couldn't make it up. Oh, that happened in Georgia. It was at a university. I can't think of where. You might be right, Dolphin. I mean, they were both law students and they were neighbors and they would study together. I guess he became infatuated. She had a boyfriend. Awesome. Morning, Rondi Potter. Athens, I think. Alrighty, y'all have a great one. Have a great one, Dreamcatcher. Macon, Georgia. Yeah, that's exactly where it was. That guy was sick. But if you haven't seen that case, you need to go check it out because it just shows you the gravity of it doesn't matter what kind of education you have, you everyone's capable of murder in their own right. And he was very disturbed individual. I'll see what I can do, Nina. I don't know how today's gonna play out. I'll try to make it. What time central is it? I'll see if I can make it. I mean, I kind of feel weird if you're gonna if you invited him to be on the panel and then I'm on the panel too. You know what I mean? 6 p.m. I'll see if I can make it. If not, I'll be in the chat. I'll definitely be in the chat supporting you because I don't know what's going on. I can plan something and just like yesterday, it never goes the way it's planned. We've had a lot of juvenile stuff going on, so I don't know. I will try to make it though, one way or the other. Y'all go support Nina as she's on panel tonight, obviously with JB Gunner. That's going to be an interesting one. What are y'all going to be talking about? Because you know JB thought he was innocent for a long time, and he's still not very sold on the evidence that's going to potentially convict him. You know that, right? So he thinks most of it is circumstantial. But it should be a good interview. I mean, if you're going to interview him and stuff. You know, one thing I'd be curious to know, Nina. Ask him about John Wayne Gacy. They said that they're related. He said he's related. Ask him about that. Guilters and Proburgers. Okay. Ask him about John Wayne Gacy. What are his thoughts on that? I'm gonna go unprivate the Stephen McDaniel case, so y'all can go catch it in my lives tab. If y'all don't know about the case, it will show you that, you know what, it doesn't matter what level of education you have. Everybody's capable of murder, and most people try to get away with it. And it shows that not everybody is about that life. Here it is right here. This dude is a trip. He is a trip. All right, I unprivated it, so you guys can go check out that video if you don't have anything else to watch. Give it a like. Give it a subscribe if you haven't already became a subscriber. There are a lot of Idaho 4 videos from the past in the members only tab. So if you'd like to watch some of those, please join the channel. You know, if only just to watch those videos and then unjoin after you watch them. The reason that I did put them in the members only is because there's so many of them, and they get clustered up with all the other stuff, so it doesn't look like I do anything else. Well, I hope that you guys have an awesome day. This is my Friday, and I hope that y'all enjoyed my live, even though it was not advertised. I hope you did get the notification. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Maestro, cue that music. Dana sent me the other day. Oh,